All or Nothing, yeah. So take me through your thoughts on All or Nothing. What did you think? I thought it was great. I was a big fan of it. I think it's the best one that's been made. You go.
Yeah, I was really worried when it was announced that this was happening, because the season didn't end the way that I hoped, and we narrowly lost out in what I would call semi-embarrassing fashion in terms of the top four battle. And there was a side to Arteta in that documentary that I didn't know existed. He's very well media trained and very well articulated, and delivers his message very quickly, very concisely, but he doesn't necessarily always display that he has that level of aggression and passion that the most successful managers have had when he's in front of those cameras. But that All or Nothing documentary showed me a completely different side to the man, taking absolutely no prisoners, going up to them and saying, "You're fucking soft. You have to earn the right to play. That was shit." And throwing, laundry baskets around and walking out and kicking bottles. I was like, "Oh, hold on. This is the stuff that I used to be jealous of Sir Alex Ferguson doing." Not drawing any comparison between the managers.
No. I get it though.
But that's the sort of temperament that I wish a lot of our managers have had, and he's got it. But he also has the other side of it, the technical nous, and he's earning the respect of the young players, and he's not afraid to make big decisions. And we got to learn a lot about other players, man. Like I didn't know much about the personality of Eddie Nketiah, for example, but I really liked the way he came across, speaking to Sambi Lokonga in that documentary and saying, "Listen, don't feel sorry for yourself because you're not starting. You're not the only one, yeah. We need to work to get into this team."
which is sick.
Yeah,
I thought that was really cool how he just pitched it out there, and I was like, fair play.
Yeah, it was great. It was great, and seeing how Aaron Ramsdale's devastated, not because we lost the game, but because he lost a clean sheet. Things like that I would never have known if it wasn't for that documentary. And seeing ultimately the deference that people have to Mikel Arteta within the club hierarchy. It's quite clear that they wanted to reintegrate Aubameyang, but Arteta said, "All right, but that doesn't send out the kind of message that I want to send out. So sorry, no." Next thing you know, Aubameyang's gone.
Which is similar to what United are having with Ronaldo to a kind of point, which is he's doing things off-piste that isn't in line with what Ten Hag wants. But I don't think Ten Hag's as probably nice as Arteta. I feel like he's more autocratic. Like, this is how you do it. Bam. Don't fuck around. Like, there's been clips of him, again, football Twitter, but 95th minute against Chelsea, Luke Shaw is doing kick-ups on the side to waste time, and he's pissed on the edge of his technical area, screaming at him to get the ball forward because he wants to go for the winner. And I'm like, you're obsessed. Even I would have been like, chill, take the points. In 95th minute, you're away from home. But he wants that. He wants that next level of aggression, and he won't take anyone disrespecting him. So similar to the Aubameyang thing, and weirdly, we're getting to Christmas, World Cup, whatever. We might have the same thing with Cristiano, where his contract is cancelled, and all of a sudden the team has to make do without a striker. It's literally a very similar carbon copy to what you have and what we have, and we're very unlikely to spend in January. So yeah, it's interesting to sort of sit back and think: is Erik ten Hag being like that, or is he doing what Arteta is, which is being quite nice in the changing room, but on the pitch he's very animated?
Yeah, it's difficult, but the reality is Ten Hag has managerial experience and has won stuff with Ajax, so it's less surprising. Mikel Arteta had not managed any professional football team to any sort of standard. That's why I was learning about him from scratch. It's not just learning about him as an Arsenal manager; it's learning about him as a football manager.
Yeah.
I had no clue. At least with Ten Hag, you had an idea of what his philosophy was, you had an idea of what his personality was, and that's why he was recruited. But we had no idea with Mikel Arteta. We absolutely didn't have a clue. Now, what he's doing with Ronaldo, again, I'm not privy to anything behind the scenes. I just don't see why that couldn't have been done in the summer. That's my only thing with it, right? I mean, if you can have a few training sessions with him and you understand that he's not necessarily going to fit into your philosophy, you can probably gauge that he's not the guy that's going to want to come on in the 93rd minute in most games. I don't think that will be too difficult to understand. Even though I don't know Ronaldo personally, I could have guessed that. Why not?
Anyone could have. Yeah.
Why not cut your losses then? But hindsight's a wonderful thing, and that's why he's a football manager and I'm not. But that's my only sort of inkling there, because then maybe you would have had the time and the money to bring someone else in.
Maybe, but his commercial value is priceless to the club. Think of the amount of 7 shirts that they must have sold.
So that comes from the board.
At the start of the year.
So that comes from the board.
Even then. Of course it does. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And I'm sure Arteta's had to bite the bullet with a couple of board decisions over the years as well, man. It's not as if the manager has ultimate autonomy, no matter what they say or what they'd like to believe. if the owner of the football club says something's happening, then something's more likely than not going to happen.